Good morning, Forest Hill School. It's your principal, Mrs. Brown, and I welcome you to our Forest Hill School Remembrance Day Assembly. I'd like to remind you to keep any distractions to a minimum, including cell phones. We welcome your families to gather with you in the virtual commemoration of Remembrance Day. At this moment, we respectfully acknowledge the territory in which we gather as the ancestral homelands of the Wolastoqey, Mi'kmaq, and Passamaquoddy peoples. We strive for respectful relationships with all peoples of this province as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation and honor this beautiful land together. In honor of the land and the country we call home, I respectfully request that we all rise and sing O Canada in both English and Mi'kmaq.
O Canada, kami ginahinu, emuidemnek, when gejidochtan tuju, sachgesalulek, megidedulek, kisnegaugelniek. Dante sieg o Canada, aquae ulekisa. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thousands of veterans from the First and Second World War are honored on November 11th. Veterans are deserving of our gratitude for many reasons. These brave men and women overcame obstacles such as leaving their families and loved ones to enlist and ensure peace, freedom, and all the rights and privileges that come with democracy. Unfortunately, many of these veterans died in combat, while others are traumatized and injured. We thank our veterans for sacrificing their lives for our freedom. We also express gratitude to today's members of the Canadian Armed Forces who continue to serve for our protection. In memory of those who have died and served in the pursuit of a peaceful country, please stand and bow our heads in a moment of silence.
Good morning to the staff and students at Forest Hill School in St. John, New Brunswick. My name is Lieutenant Colonel David Burbridge, Commanding Officer of Real Property Operations Unit Pacific in Victoria, BC. It is an honor to have the opportunity to speak to you today on Remembrance Day. My unit is comprised of almost 350 personnel, most of whom are civilian, but many of which are military. The role of my unit is to maintain and repair several $1 billion worth of defense infrastructure across British Columbia. We also manage the new construction of facilities as required. In 2000, 21 years ago, I decided to join the Army because I was interested in the adventurous lifestyle, the chance to see many different parts of Canada and other countries around the world, as well as to meet new people. I was also inspired to become part of an organization that plays an important role in Canadian society and the world, and has played an important part in previous conflicts and the pursuit of peace. When I told my family and friends that I was joining the Canadian Armed Forces, most were very supportive. Some were surprised at my decision, others became interested in joining themselves, and my mother was a bit worried that something might happen to me. It was a big decision, but I'm glad I did it. The recruitment process for the Canadian Armed Forces has many stages. First, a person needs to decide which trade they want to apply for. Then, they need to submit an application, agree to a security screening, pass a medical examination, pass an aptitude test, and then be successful at an interview. When they meet the requirements at all these stages, then they will be off to basic training. When I joined the military, I had just completed a bachelor's degree in physics, and I always had my sights set on becoming an Army engineering officer. Luckily, I was successful at getting the position that I wanted. However, I can say that I would have had a very interesting career in the Navy, sailing around the world, or in the Air Force, either in an aircraft or supporting air operations. Training of newly recruited members of the Canadian Armed Forces can vary greatly depending on the job one is doing. For some jobs, training may only last 5 or 6 months, and for other jobs, it can take much longer. My training as an Army engineering officer lasted over 2 years, including a 9-month course to learn how to speak French. Early in my career, I was deployed to Afghanistan. I've also had the opportunity to participate in some military exercises with other nations. Throughout my 21 years of service, I have been posted to 5 different provinces and 1 territory in Canada. Generally, I am posted to a new job every 2 to 3 years. Therefore, my family does need to move often. This can be difficult, as my wife needs to find new work and my children need to change schools, but it is always an adventure for my family to live in a new city. My longest posting was 4 years in Belgium, and we had the chance to visit numerous nearby countries, such as Germany, the Netherlands, England, France, Italy, Spain, and Morocco. My family had opportunities to visit several important battle sites where Canadians once fought, and memorials now stand, such as Vimy Ridge in France. Being in the military isn't the easiest job. Sometimes you have to spend a lot of time away from your family, and you might be deployed across the world into a conflict zone. But it is also a very fulfilling job, and you have a deep sense of accomplishment. Regarding how Remembrance Day is observed in the Canadian Armed Forces, every year military personnel wear a poppy from the final Friday in October until Remembrance Day. Across Canada, military personnel participate in, or attend, ceremonies in all the cities and communities in the region surrounding bases where they are stationed. In addition, many go to schools or other community locations to speak about their experiences. The number of veterans across Canada is approximately 630,000. This is a much higher number than most people would guess, and often you probably walk past a veteran and don't realize it. A veteran is any former member of the Canadian Armed Forces who successfully completed basic training and was honorably discharged. Therefore, not only are there older veterans, but also many young veterans. Once again, it was a privilege to have the opportunity to speak to you today. I would like to express my sincere appreciation for all the efforts you have taken to remember and to honor all those who have fought, sacrificed, and died in the service of Canada during times of conflict. Thank you.
My great-grandfather's name was Arnold Freilich. When he was 23, he was in the Navy in World War II. They were shooting tubes at the enemy ships when there was an explosion. A piece of a bomb blew off his arm. He lay on the boat deck for 4 hours until they got back in the port. The doctor in the newspaper article said he was a very courageous to survive that.
This is my great-grandpa, Lawrence
Carlson.
He was born in 1918 and joined the Air Force in 1943. He worked on airplanes during World War II, like this one. Grampy sat on the open door of the airplane and watched for polar bears in Alaska. He was hurt after the airplane crashed and stayed in the hospital about for a month. He really enjoyed getting letters from his family and friends. He left the Air Force in 1945 when the war ended. He was a very proud veteran until he died in 1989. Little Poppy given to me, to keep Canada safe and free. I'll wear little Poppy as red can be, to show the ones who fought through me.
A Poppy is to Remember by Heather Patterson, illustrated by Ron Lightburn. Once there was a long and terrible war, a war some called the Great War. Many young men went off to fight, and many did not return home to their families. But still, in the muddy fields where they fought, wild poppies sprang up, glowing brightly. An army doctor, weary from tending the wounded, wrote a poem about that war and about those poppies. In Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our places, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow, in Flanders Fields. His poem was read far and wide. When the war finally ended, on November 11, 1918, people everywhere celebrated the return to peace. A poppy is to remember those far from home, crossing the troubled lands, and threatening waters, and dangerous skies. It is for the wounded and those who cared for them. It is for the dead and those who carried on without them. It is for the brave ones who remain, and their memories of battle. A poppy is for peace. Every year on Remembrance Day, it blooms across our land. A poppy is to remember.
They fought and some died for their homeland. They fought and some died, now it's our land. Look at his little child, there's no fear in her eyes. Could he not show respect for other dads who have died? Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over. In peace may they rest, may we never forget why they died. It's a pittance of time. God forgive me for wanting to strike him. Give me strength so as not to be like him. My heart pounds in my breast, fingers pressed to my lips. My throat wants to bawl out, my tongue barely resists. But 2 minutes I will bide. It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who went over. In peace may they rest, may we never forget why they died. It's a pittance of time. Read the letters and poems of the heroes at home. They have casualties, battles, and fears of their own. There's a price to be paid if you go, if you stay. Freedom's fought for and won in numerous ways. Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls all over. May we never forget our young become vets at the end of the line. It's a pittance of time. It takes courage to fight in your own war. It takes courage to fight someone else's war. Our peacekeepers tell of their own living hell. They bring hope to foreign lands that hate mongers can't kill. Take 2 minutes, would you mind? It's a pittance of time for the boys and the girls who go over. In peacetime our best still don battle dress and lay their lives on the line. It's a pittance of time. In peace may they rest, lest we forget why they died. Take a pittance of time.